This is a Hyundai i30N, the young, enthusiastic upstart from Korea upsetting the hot hatch field. Now in this video, this isn't another flashy YouTuber telling you all the good points about the car. No, we get into the dirt. I'm going to tell you everything that goes wrong on these cars so you can make an informed buying decision and get the best used example possible. Let's go. So let's kick off by talking about what one you want to buy, because we've got the i30N, sort of standard line one, or we've got this, the performance one. And honestly, forget the former, it's this one you want to be going for. For that little bit extra money, look at all this stuff that we get. We're going to get larger wheels. An inch makes a big difference, you know. The very parpy sports exhaust. An extra 25 brake horsepower, an interior made of cow rather than cloth, and most importantly, you're going to get the electronically controlled limited slip diff that completely transforms the drive. So don't be a tight Scotsman. Get the proper one, spend that wee bit more money. So even though these cars are still really new, and in fact all of them are pretty much still under manufacturer warranty, there's still some big issues you need to be aware of when you go and look at one of these. First up is a fuel pump problem. Now this affected model year 2018 cars, and the symptoms you're going to notice is trouble starting, maybe low boost pressure, little power. Basically it just won't be running right. Now another problem that also affected these earlier cars is to do with the ECU. Now when the ECU would go bad, similar symptoms, not running right, low power, trouble starting. So if you're noticing anything like that, it could be to do with either of those issues. Now one last thing I want to mention there, and it's those same symptoms, so trouble starting, not running quite right. A lot of owners reported it was actually loose battery terminals. So again, if you own one of these and you're getting those issues, double check, it could be an easy fix. Next up, we've got a problem on these, and it affected again. Next problem is to do with the anti-collision system that these cars have. They can have a malfunction, and the best way to spot that, or the only way to spot that, is on the dash. Usually it will display the error, and if that's the case, again, bring that into the negotiation, save yourself a bit of money back for the hassle that it will cause you to get it sorted. Thankfully, usually it just needs a software update and nothing's actually broken. Continuing on that theme, here's another issue. Now you're not going to be able to test this one, but I'm going to tell you anyway, and it's to do with the alarm system. What happens is it can go off randomly, and again, nothing's actually broken or at fault there. It usually just needs a recalibration and it's all good to go. Let me tell you something that is broken though. Have a look at this. We get over 100,000 views on this channel each month and only 2.8% subscribe. What's going on with that? Is it me? Is it you? Do you not love me anymore? Either way, hit that subscribe button, help us out, like the video, and allow us to continue making these buyer's guides for you. Here's a slightly unusual issue, but one to check on the car that you're looking at for sure. These leather seats can be a bit susceptible to getting some bum creases on them. That is, it gets a bit worn, and apparently Hyundai are working on a fix for this, a TSB as they call it, but there's nothing came along just yet. Now on this interior, other things to be aware of is with the infotainment system up here. This can have a habit of just randomly rebooting as you're going along the road, which obviously isn't very helpful. Now some users have said, although there's not an official fix for this, removing and reinserting the SD card for it can sometimes help alleviate the symptoms. So try that. Now these next faults we're going to get into, these are easiest to tell you about whilst we're on the move. So let's get into that test drive. So here we are on the bit that you've been waiting for, no doubt, getting out on that test drive, actually getting a shot of the car. This is Emma, who's very kindly allowed us to use her car today. Do you recommend the car, Emma? Should people buy it? Should they get something else? What do you think?
I do recommend it. Like you said, it's a 7 out of 10.
We haven't given away the score yet, that comes at the end.
Shit. Sorry.
Anyway, on that note, onto the checks that you need to do on that test drive. So there's one really significant thing. That's probably the biggest thing you guys want to be checking, and that's that 5th and 6th gear both feel okay. Now there's a problem on some gearboxes. I'll add the serial numbers of the problematic gearboxes in the description below, check that out. And the issue was mainly to do with the synchro rings on both 5th and 6th gear. Now the way you're going to notice that is when you're going into 5th or 6th, it's going to feel significantly tougher to try and get it into gear than any of the others. Now again, thankfully Hyundai are warranting most of these claims. It's not coming out of your pocket, in other words, but it's still something you want to be aware of. You don't want to be buying a sick car. Has it got launch control?
Yes.
Does it?
I've never done it, but...
I won't actually do it, I just want to hear it. Please don't. Sorry. So other problems we want to be aware of, things you want to pick up on, nothing too significant thankfully. There is a rattling reported from the headlining, and what it is it's near this sort of centre console light unit that we've got up top here, and it's to do with the wiring leading to it. Now the fix is basically adding a bit of insulation around those wires, stop them rattling about, and again that's something hopefully you're going to find Hyundai will take care of if the one that you're buying does have. But again, bring it up with the seller. If you can save some money over it, then more power to you. Now on that same note, we also have creaking coming from the windscreen. A lot of owners report this one, and again, easy fix, not the end of the world. All it requires is some insulating material being added at specific points, and that'll take care of it for you. Now as for the last fault, we're going to need to make a quick phone call in order to see that one, so let's do that.
Hello?
Hi Faraz.
What is it? I'm in the bath.
Alright. So the issue relates to the fader settings. If you've got custom fader settings set up, it doesn't restore properly after you finish off a phone call, and we'll leave Faraz to his bath. So how do we finish up? How does it rank on a reliability score? Well, actually, it's a really surprisingly solid car. You need to remember, cars like the Honda Civic Type R or other competitors that this car's up against have had generations of refinement. They've been able to iron out the bugs, whereas this is Hyundai's first foray into the hot hatch market. And on that basis, they get a hell of a lot of stuff right first time round. So we're giving this a very solid 7 out of 10. Might have been a little bit higher if it didn't have those little niggly problems and the issue with the gearbox, but a solid 7 out of 10. Now, if you own one of these cars, or if you're going to look at one of these cars and you've got any questions, drop it in the comments below as ever. We'll come back and help you out. But for now, we'll see you on the next one.